I left Kansas when I was 19 and moved to New York to become an actor. And it was sort of while I was in New York that I discovered the Land Institute. It was really interesting to be out of the state and to find that something that cool and that interesting and vital was actually happening in the state I just left. A lot of people are just trying to get by from day to day. They're thinking about this paradigm right now, and Wes and the Land Institute to some degree are thinking about a paradigm of where we're headed. How are we going to feed people later, and how are we going to live in this place?
Well, I'm Wes Jackson, and I'm here at the Land Institute, and we've been in business 31.5 years. Mostly what we are is geneticist, ecologist types, and we're perennializing the major crops: wheat, sorghum, sunflowers, corn. We're trying to solve the 10,000-year-old problem of agriculture.
I'm John Schmidt, Development Director for the Land Institute. We're developing what we call natural systems agriculture, an agriculture that works kind of like Mother Nature. It's composed of perennial plants planted in a mixture.
Nature tends to feature perennials in mixtures, and agriculture 10,000 years ago reversed that by featuring annuals in monocultures.
This is an annual wheat plant. This is where you get your bread. This is where you get your pasta. This is a perennial wheat plant. It comes up every year, and almost all the perennials have long roots. The advantages are so awesome. I mean, you don't have to plow it up every year. You don't use as much petroleum. You know, it really holds the soil in place. It's very resistant to insects and weeds, so you don't have to dump chemical pesticides and insecticides and so forth on it. It just needs sunlight and rain, and then go through and harvest it once a year and really not have to do much more work than that. This is what we call milo, and it's a field sorghum, and or grain sorghum that's grown a lot in Kansas. Lots of seeds, big seeds. That's what we'd like to get in a perennial plant. So we crossed it with this plant that's very tall. It's about 10, 12 feet tall. Small seeds, not many seeds. We take this plant back, cross it to the annual plant, get something like this. After a few generations, now we're getting something that looks pretty grain-like. And the seeds are much bigger than what we started off with here, and they're perennial.
What do you name these new species?
Oh, Joe, George, Julie. No,
apples, raspberries, blueberries, tomatoes, lettuce, all of that stuff used to be grown commercially in Kansas. That agricultural diversity and cultural diversity has been sort of reduced through the advent of industrial worldwide agricultural systems.
How are we going to get that know-how back on the landscape? We need to have, if we're to be resilient, our food supply close to where the people are.
Hi, I'm Hillary from Local Burger. We're in Lawrence, Kansas, and I have a healthy fast food restaurant sourcing my foods locally. I just had the school of doing healthy fast food, but then I found out I was allergic to gluten, dairy, eggs, the American diet basically, and that led me to do a great deal of research. I saw how food was connected to everything, to the environment, to health, to our economy. We recycle everything here, and we have almost no waste.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
This is going to Maggie's farm. They take all the compost here. So Jessica here is making some quinoa millet. It's one of the side dishes we have here, and it's gluten-free. Quinoa is a grain that's native to South America, and it's super nutritious.
Is there a special technique for this? You just have to kind of scrape it around.
Like your oatmeal, bud.
Oh my God. It's just like oatmeal, except different.
I thought about doing a fancy restaurant, but then I thought I'd only introduce healthy foods to a few people. So I decided to do fast food. We've been very well received and gotten so much fantastic publicity, I think just because of the new concept. And the food is completely delicious and filled with love, is what I say.
We say when people, land, and community are as one, all members prosper. When regarded as competing, all suffer. So I look out on that river and those fields, and I'm not going to leave them. And I think that is all that we have to save America, is affection for place.
When I first opened, my employees started eating elk a lot, and everyone got pregnant. As a matter of fact, it happened to me. So we are convinced that elk gets you pregnant.
This elk burger is delicious. Oh my gosh, that's a happy elk.
I think that's a happy Ben. The elk is not happy about this.
So what are you, John? Are you a snow angel or a snow devil?
Depends on who you ask.
Now how to get off on all that senile rapture.